The truth is brutal. You believe respect is earned through kindness, through fairness, through being a good person. But Niccolo Machiavelli will shatter that delusion with a single merciless observation. Respect is not given to the virtuous. It is taken by the strong. You walk through life waiting for others to recognize your worth, expecting your good deeds to build a foundation of admiration. Yet what you receive is indifference at best, contempt at worst. Why? Because you misunderstand the very nature of respect. Respect is not love. It is not affection. It is not gratitude. Respect is fear, dressed in the costume of admiration. And if you do not command it through strength, through presence, through the willingness to be dangerous when necessary, you will never possess it. Today, Machiavelli reveals why you will never be respected and what you must become to change that fate. In this world, men do not bow to those who please them. They bow to those who can crush them. They do not honor the gentle. They honor the formidable. You may believe that treating others well will earn their respect, that being fair and kind will make them value you. But this is the lie we tell children to keep them obedient. The reality is far darker and far more simple. Men respect power. They respect consequences. They respect those who make them feel the weight of authority, not through cruelty alone, but through the certainty that defiance carries a price. If you lack this, if you seek respect through virtue alone, you are building a castle on sand. The tide will wash it away, and you will wonder why no one ever truly valued you. Consider the man who enters a room with quiet confidence, who speaks rarely but commands attention when he does, whose presence alone shifts the energy of those around him. He is not necessarily the kindest man. He is not the most generous. But he is respected. Why? Because there is something in him that others recognize instinctively, a sense that he is not to be trifled with, that he holds within himself a force that could be unleashed if provoked. This is not the respect born of love. It is the respect born of measured fear, of awareness, of understanding that this man is not weak. Now consider the opposite, the man who bends over backward to accommodate everyone, who says yes when he means no, who sacrifices his own needs to avoid conflict, who smiles through insults and accepts disrespect with grace, hoping that his patience will eventually be rewarded. What does he receive? Contempt. He is walked over, ignored, dismissed as irrelevant. His kindness is not seen as virtue, but as weakness. His generosity is not appreciated, but exploited. And deep down, even those who benefit from his softness despise him for it. Why? Because weakness invites aggression. It is the law of nature. The wolf does not respect the sheep. He devours it. Before we continue this journey into Machiavelli's unforgiving wisdom, if you're finding value in this brutal honesty and want more insights on power, respect, and the true nature of human behavior, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Leave a like if you agree that respect is earned through strength, not kindness. And drop a comment below telling me your experiences with being disrespected and what you learned from it. Now let's dive deeper into why you will never be respected unless you understand what Machiavelli knew centuries ago. The problem begins with your understanding of what respect actually is. You think respect is something that emerges naturally from good character, from moral behavior, from treating others as you wish to be treated. This is a fantasy. Respect is a transaction. It is a calculation. When someone respects you, they are not celebrating your goodness. They are acknowledging your ability to affect their life, either positively through reward or negatively through punishment. Respect is given to those who hold leverage. If you have no leverage, no ability to impose consequences, no capacity to reward or withhold, then you have nothing that compels others to respect you. You are simply another face in the crowd, ignored and irrelevant. Machiavelli understood this with crystal clarity. In The Prince, he wrote that men judge more by their eyes than by their hands, meaning they judge by appearances, by displays of power, by the visible capacity to act decisively. They do not peer into your soul to measure your virtue. They measure your usefulness, your strength, your willingness to defend your position. If you appear weak, if you signal that you can be pushed without consequence, then respect will never come. You will be categorized as harmless, and the harmless are never respected. They are tolerated at best, exploited at worst. Think about the people you respect in your own life. Are they the ones who constantly seek your approval? Are they the ones who bend to your every whim, who accommodate your demands without resistance? Or are they the ones who hold firm boundaries, who say no when necessary, who make you feel that crossing them would be unwise? The answer is obvious. We respect those who respect themselves enough to demand respect from others. We respect those who will not be walked over. We respect strength, certainty, boundaries, and the willingness to enforce them. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. The man who refuses to be disrespected is not a tyrant. He is simply someone who understands the game. And those who do not understand this, those who believe respect flows from virtue alone, remain perpetually confused as to why their goodness earns them nothing but indifference. Let us examine why your kindness does not earn respect, but instead invites contempt. You think that by being agreeable, by avoiding conflict, by putting others first, you are demonstrating strength of character. But what you are actually demonstrating is fear. Fear of confrontation, fear of rejection, fear of standing alone. Others sense this fear like animals sense weakness in a herd, and once they sense it, they categorize you accordingly. You become the one they can ignore, the one whose opinions do not matter, the one whose presence adds nothing of weight to the room. Your kindness, divorced from strength, is interpreted as submission, and no one respects submission. They exploit it. Consider the workplace. The employee who never pushes back, who accepts every unreasonable demand, who stays late without complaint, who sacrifices his own time and dignity to please his superiors. Does this man get promoted? Does he earn respect? Rarely. More often, he is taken for granted. His willingness to absorb mistreatment becomes expected. His lack of boundaries makes him useful, not respectable. Meanwhile, the colleague who sets firm limits, who negotiates assertively, who makes it clear that his time and effort have value, this man is respected. Why? Because he has communicated through his actions that there is a cost to disrespecting him. He has leverage, and leverage commands respect. The same principle applies in friendships, in relationships, in every human interaction. The friend who is always available, who drops everything to help, who never says no, becomes the friend who is called upon only when needed and ignored when not. His constant availability signals low value. It says, "I have nothing better to do than serve you." And people consciously or unconsciously assign respect based on perceived value. If you are always there, always willing, always bending, you signal that your time, your energy, your very presence is cheap. And what is cheap is not respected. It is used. Contrast this with the friend who is selective with his time, who says no when his own priorities come first, who makes you feel that his presence is a gift, not a guarantee. This friend is respected. His boundaries create value. His refusal to be taken for granted makes others appreciate him more. This is the paradox that confounds the naive. By trying to earn respect through constant giving, you achieve the opposite. You become invisible, a tool to be used rather than a person to be honored. Machiavelli knew that men are fundamentally self-interested. They do not love you for your goodness. They use you for your usefulness. And when you are no longer useful, when you have nothing left to give, they discard you without a second thought. Gratitude is a fleeting emotion, extinguished the moment a new need arises. If you base your strategy for earning respect on the hope that people will remember your kindness, you have already lost. They will not. They will remember only whether you are still useful, still strong, still capable of affecting their interests. And if you are not, you will be forgotten. This is why respect must be rooted in something more durable than virtue. It must be rooted in power, not necessarily the power to harm, though that is one form, but the power to choose, to refuse, to walk away, to impose consequences. The man who has options is respected. The man who has none is pitied or ignored. Which are you? Now let us turn to the masks people wear when they interact with you. You believe that when someone smiles at you, praises your work, or agrees with your ideas, they are being genuine. But more often than not, they are performing. They are managing you. They are calculating how to extract what they need from you without giving you leverage in return. This is not necessarily malicious. It is simply strategic. People wear masks because showing their true feelings, especially feelings of indifference or contempt, carries social risk. So they smile, they nod, they say what you want to hear, and you, desperate for validation, accept these performances as real respect. But they are not. They are illusions designed to keep you compliant, to keep you giving, to keep you weak. Think about the coworker who compliments your ideas in the meeting, but then takes credit for them when speaking to the boss. Was his compliment genuine? Or was it a mask, a way to lower your guard so he could position himself advantageously? Think about the friend who tells you you're doing great while secretly enjoying your struggles because they make him feel better about his own life. Was his encouragement sincere? Or was it a performance, a way to keep you comfortable in mediocrity while he advances? Machiavelli warns us that men are by nature ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and greedy. They will stand by you when things are easy, when supporting you costs them nothing. But the moment supporting you becomes inconvenient, the moment it threatens their own interests, they will abandon you. And they will do so while still wearing the mask of friendship, of loyalty, of respect. The mask only slips when it no longer serves them to wear it. This is why you cannot trust surface-level interactions as indicators of genuine respect. Respect is not proven through words. It is proven through actions, specifically through actions taken when it is costly to do so. The person who defends you when you are not in the room, who stands by you when it is unpopular, who honors your boundaries even when it inconveniences them, that person respects you. Everyone else is simply managing their relationship with you for maximum benefit to themselves. And there is nothing wrong with this. It is human nature. But you must see it clearly. You must stop interpreting politeness as respect, agreeability as admiration. Most of the respect you think you have is an illusion, a mask worn by people who would just as easily discard you if circumstances changed. The man who understands this does not become cynical. He becomes strategic. He stops seeking validation from those who do not genuinely value him. He stops giving his time, energy, and resources to people who only take. He reserves his loyalty for those who have proven theirs through action, not words. And in doing so, he begins to command actual respect, because he is no longer a resource to be exploited but a force to be reckoned with. Respect flows not to those who seek it desperately, but to those who are indifferent to whether it is given. When you stop needing respect, you start receiving it. This is the paradox Machiavelli understood, and that you must internalize if you wish to ever be truly respected. Let us now examine the role of power in commanding respect. Machiavelli tells us plainly that it is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. This statement horrifies those raised on fairy tales and comforting lies, but it is not a statement of cruelty. It is a statement of reality. Love is unreliable. It shifts with moods, with circumstances, with the passage of time. Fear, however, is constant. The man who fears you will not betray you lightly, because he knows the cost. The man who loves you may betray you the moment his feelings change or his interests diverge from yours. Love is a luxury. Fear is a foundation. This does not mean you should rule through terror or cruelty. Machiavelli himself warns against being hated, which is different from being feared. Hatred breeds rebellion. Fear breeds caution. The key is to be formidable without being cruel, to make it clear that you are not to be disrespected without being unnecessarily harsh. You must be like the lion and the fox, strong enough to defend yourself and clever enough to avoid traps. The man who is only kind is a sheep among wolves. The man who is only cruel is a tyrant who will be overthrown. But the man who balances strength with wisdom, who can be generous when appropriate and ruthless when necessary, commands lasting respect. Consider the leader who is loved by his team, but lacks authority. When a difficult decision must be made, when someone must be held accountable, he hesitates. He fears losing their affection. So he avoids the hard choices, allows mediocrity to persist, and slowly his team loses respect for him. They still like him, but they do not respect him. They know he will not enforce standards, will not impose consequences, will not do what is necessary to maintain order and excellence. His leadership is weak, and weak leadership invites chaos. Now consider the leader who is feared, not because he is cruel, but because he is decisive. He sets clear expectations. He enforces them consistently. He does not tolerate disrespect or incompetence. His team may not love him, but they respect him. They know where they stand. They know that excellence is rewarded and failure has consequences. This clarity creates a functional, productive environment, and over time, this leader often earns a deeper form of respect than the merely likable leader ever could, because people respect those who make them better, even if it is uncomfortable. The same applies to personal relationships. The partner who is always agreeable, who never sets boundaries, who tolerates disrespect in the name of keeping the peace, loses respect. Their partner begins to see them as weak, as someone who can be treated carelessly without consequence. The relationship deteriorates not because of cruelty, but because of the absence of respect. Contrast this with the partner who maintains their dignity, who communicates their boundaries clearly, who is willing to walk away if those boundaries are violated. This partner is respected. Their willingness to choose themselves over a dysfunctional relationship makes them valuable. It signals strength, self-respect, and the capacity to live without dependence. These qualities command respect in ways that niceness never can. Power is not about domination. It is about autonomy. It is about having options. The man with options does not need to beg for respect. He simply withdraws it from those who do not offer it, and he invests it in those who do. This selective investment of time, energy, and loyalty is what makes respect possible. When you give yourself freely to everyone, you are respected by no one. Machiavelli teaches us that the prince must learn not to be good, or rather, to use goodness strategically. This does not mean becoming evil. It means understanding that virtue without power is impotent, and power without virtue is tyranny. The goal is to find the balance, to be strong enough that others dare not disrespect you, and wise enough that they benefit from respecting you. This balance is the art of earning respect, and it is an art, not a birthright. Respect is not given. It is commanded, and it is commanded through a combination of strength, consistency, and the willingness to impose consequences when boundaries are crossed. If you lack any of these elements, you will remain in the category of the disrespected, wondering why your goodness is not enough. It is not enough because goodness is not what humans respect. They respect force, clarity, and the certainty that you will not tolerate being diminished. Now we arrive at the painful truth that many refuse to accept. You will never be universally respected. It is impossible. To stand for something is to stand against something else. To have boundaries is to exclude those who wish to violate them. To be strong is to threaten those who profit from your weakness. Every act of self-respect creates enemies among those who benefited from your lack of it. Your boss respected you more when you were a doormat. Your friends liked you better when you were always available. Your partner preferred you when you never challenged them, but they did not respect you. And the moment you begin to demand respect, the moment you enforce boundaries and refuse to be diminished, you will face resistance. This resistance is proof that you are on the right path. When people are comfortable with you, it often means you are not demanding enough from yourself or from them. Comfort is the enemy of respect. Respect is born in the friction of boundaries meeting resistance. Machiavelli observed that men are quicker to offend someone they love than someone they fear. Why? Because love implies safety. It implies that the relationship will endure regardless of how one behaves. Fear implies consequence. It implies that mistreatment will be met with reprisal. The man who is only loved can be taken for granted. The man who is feared cannot. This does not mean you should seek to be feared by everyone. It means you should ensure that those who interact with you understand that disrespect carries a cost. This cost need not be violence or cruelty. It can be withdrawal of your time. It can be the end of the relationship. It can be professional consequences. The specific form matters less than the certainty. People must know that you will not absorb disrespect silently, that you value yourself enough to remove yourself from situations where you are not honored. This is where most people fail. They tolerate disrespect because they fear loneliness. They fear conflict. They fear being seen as difficult. But what they do not realize is that tolerating disrespect guarantees more of it. Every time you accept being diminished, you teach others that you can be diminished. Every time you smile through an insult, you signal that insults are acceptable. Every time you stay in a situation where you are not valued, you confirm that you do not value yourself. And people treat you exactly as you teach them to. If you teach them that disrespecting you is free, they will disrespect you constantly. If you teach them that disrespecting you is costly, they will think twice. This is not manipulation. This is basic human psychology. People respond to incentives, and respect is an incentive structure. You must structure your life such that respecting you is rewarded and disrespecting you is punished. This is how respect is built and maintained. Consider the historical figures who commanded respect. Caesar was respected not because he was kind, but because he was decisive and powerful. Alexander was respected not because he was gentle, but because he was unstoppable. Even figures of moral authority like Mandela or Gandhi commanded respect not through passivity, but through the strength of their convictions and their willingness to endure suffering rather than compromise their principles. Respect always requires strength. The nature of that strength varies. It can be physical, intellectual, moral, or social, but it must be present. Without strength, there is only pity or indifference, never respect. So ask yourself, what strength do you possess? What makes you formidable? What makes others think twice before dismissing you? If the answer is nothing, then you have identified the problem. You have no foundation upon which respect can be built. And until you build that foundation, through developing your skills, your resources, your options, your boundaries, you will remain in the shadows, overlooked and undervalued. The final and perhaps most difficult truth is this: respect is not about being liked. In fact, being respected often means being disliked by some. The person who sets boundaries is disliked by those who wish to violate them. The person who demands excellence is disliked by those who prefer mediocrity. The person who refuses to participate in gossip, in pettiness, in the small games people play, is disliked by those who thrive in that environment. But they are respected, and respect, unlike likability, endures. Likability is a popularity contest. Respect is a recognition of worth. You can lose likability in a moment with a single unpopular decision. But once respect is earned through consistent demonstration of strength, integrity, and boundaries, it is far harder to lose. This is why Machiavelli advises the prince to prioritize being feared over being loved. Love is fickle. Fear and the respect it generates is durable. So you must choose. Do you want to be liked, or do you want to be respected? Do you want to be the person everyone feels comfortable around because you never challenge them, never set boundaries, never demand more? Or do you want to be the person who commands attention, whose words carry weight, whose presence changes the energy of a room? You cannot have both. The moment you begin to demand respect, you will lose some likability. Some people will call you difficult, arrogant, harsh. Let them. Their opinions are irrelevant. What matters is whether you respect yourself enough to insist that others do the same. And if you do, if you commit to this path, you will discover something remarkable. The people worth having in your life, the people of substance and integrity, will respect you more. They will value your boundaries because they have boundaries of their own. They will appreciate your strength because they understand its necessity. And the people who drift away, who cannot handle your refusal to be diminished, were never truly in your corner to begin with. You lose nothing of value when you lose the respect of those who never respected you in the first place. So now you see the truth laid bare before you. Respect is not earned through kindness, through virtue, through being a good person. It is commanded through strength, through boundaries, through the willingness to impose consequences when those boundaries are violated. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago, and his wisdom remains as relevant today as it was in Renaissance Italy. Men do not respect the sheep. They respect the lion. They do not honor the doormat. They honor the unmovable force. If you wish to be respected, you must become someone worth respecting. You must develop power, whether that power comes from skills, resources, options, or simply the strength of character to walk away from situations where you are not valued. You must stop seeking validation from those who will never give it, and start demanding it from yourself. You must accept that respect and likability are often at odds, and choose respect every time. Because likability fades, but respect endures. Likability is a comfort, but respect is a weapon. And in a world where everyone is fighting for position, for status, for survival, you need weapons, not comforts. Machiavelli's harsh truth is this: you will never be respected until you stop trying to be loved. You will never be honored until you stop seeking approval. You will never be valued until you value yourself enough to refuse to be devalued by others. This is the path. It is not easy. It is not comfortable. But it is the only path that leads to genuine, lasting respect. Walk it, or remain forever in the shadow of those who do.